All right, we're back. BullRing Banter Podcast here on the Pit Chatter Media on the Race 22 Network. I don't know why I go through that every time. That's a lot. That's a mouthful. That's too much. BullRing Banter Podcast, all about the Ararat BullRing. And, man, the Ararat BullRing has fired up over the last 2 weeks since we last recorded. Man, I don't know why we didn't get to record one last week. Just busy and just timing and, all those things. Hopefully we won't have that problem going forward, and we'll be back on a regular basis here.
Just dropping the ball last week. Dropping the ball.
That's right. I'm your host and promoter, Langley Austin. That other voice you heard, that is my wife, Kimberly Austin, who is, head scorer, in charge of keeping me straight, and, a whole lot of other things. So she's been working on concessions and merchandise and all that good stuff. So
I am exhausted, so everybody knows.
If any of that is messed up, blame her. Anyways, BullRing Banter Podcast. I believe this is episode 7. Nope, it's episode 8. And last episode was getting on track finally, and this one is back on track. And the Ararat BullRing came to life last Saturday. Well, not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before. And it was a good turnout for practice. Really excited about how that went. But before getting too deep here, this episode brought to you by Buffalo Mountain Motorsports, and that's not just a race team. That's a car dealership, power sports, ATV, side-by-sides, dirt bikes, accessories, sponsor of the late model division. That's Rob Favor, who is a racer in the late model division. He came out to practice for the first one, had 3 cars there, I believe. He had a Crown Vic there. I'm not sure who was driving it. I'm not sure if he was driving it or somebody else. And then Mikey Reed was in a stock 4 of theirs. So had them out 2 weekends ago. And also brought to you by TC Construction, which is Travis Covey, and he's the title sponsor of the modified division. Not much you can buy from him or to support him, but be sure to give him a big thanks for all the support him and Rob and also Andrew Langford have given the racetrack. But TC Construction, man, they come in 3 cars strong themselves with Travis Covey, Ronnie Covey, and then Cambridge Gann also there for practice. And hell, half the cars in the pit area had TC Construction on it, so it was good to see. Not just modifieds either. So, and this show is also brought to you by Andrews Mowing and Landscaping. They're celebrating 20 years in business, and so if you need your yard mowed or you need some landscaping done, they got some equipment, skid steers, some dump trucks, some different stuff, and they'll take care of that. And they've Andrew's done a lot of work at the Ararat BullRing, and man, his work paid off. He got to practice on opening night of practice there 2 weeks ago, and he was the fastest car, according to the transponders that we had. He was the fastest car of the evening by about 0.3 of a second. So his hard work and knowing where all the spots in the track, I guess, was paid off for him.
I mean, I really hate that I missed the open practice. I was at Franklin County doing their scoring for the season as well. But, seeing all the photos and, the videos from practice, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And Andrew, running as fast as he is, I do think that him being there, moving the dirt,
there's some sort of advantage there.
There's got to be.
It is. It's like Dylan Watson, when his family ran it the last time. But, I mean, take nothing away from him either. He was the second fastest car there on transponder. Now, it could have been somebody else that was fast, too, and without transponder. And I didn't have everybody's number. I just knew theirs from, them helping us get set up.
Well, hopefully we'll have that fixed
and Andrew
this
told
week.
me what his was. So, so hopefully we'll be dialed in a little bit better with that. But we had 40-ish cars.
Amazing.
For the open practice. I tell you, you weren't there, but, the day starts, and, of course, Gary Nestor, the owner of the track, he had been telling me, man, it's going to be a big practice. It's going to be a big practice. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I come from the asphalt world, 10 cars, that's a good day. You know what I mean?
15's real good.
Oh yeah, I mean you've done a real good job. I mean, unless it's like a morning practice or the day before or something. You know what I mean? So I get there and I'm just people coming in. Hey, where do we park? Nah, just pick you out a spot over here, buddy. Well, can I park my personal vehicle in here? Yeah, put that thing over there beside your trailer. You know what I mean?
When you were texting me, got about 40-ish cars.
Yeah.
Texting me that there was a lot of people there watching.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, he's just messing with me. And then I was like, he's really not messing with me. That's an amazing thing I missed today.
Yeah. So me parking all those people like that, there's not a lot of room at Air. Very small facility. And had we had a few more cars, it would have been a problem how I was letting them park. Hopefully opening night we'll have our ducks in a row and have our parking, on point. And man, I'm looking forward to it. I hate that we weren't able to open last week, but I'm so glad that we didn't go into last weekend, on a hope and a prayer. Last Tuesday we went ahead and pulled the plug and shifted the opener to May 10th, and it was partially due to the weather and partially due to the fact that I don't care how much time you have to prepare. We're going to be behind on May 10th.
We're still behind.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to be behind on May 10th. I mean, it is what it is. But we're going to be a little less behind on May 10th and have a few very important details taken care of, which will be great. From the practice, all the drivers that I talked to, man, track's perfect. I love the track. The track's in such good shape. I can't believe you guys moved all that dirt, and the track's in such good shape, and it's set here for this long, and this track's in good shape, and it was so comforting to hear that.
And the podcast that Cambridge Gann's on.
Yeah, on the backstretch. Yep,
he was
Nick
talking.
Roberts.
He was like, "Oh man, the track was just perfect."
Yep,
and
yep.
I mean, you could hear the excitement in his voice, and he's just so excited to get back. Going back to you talking about parking, we don't park in the infield. We have an outside parking area.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
There's not. We come from. You have parking stalls in asphalt. You can mark them off. So when they roll in, do you just say, "Hey, just park wherever you want," or
no. Come May 10th, we're going to have somebody specifically parking them and parking them close to one another and making sure that we have room. Because I mean, let's be real. We're very limited. In
very
parking.
much so.
And we've got maybe a potential of a little spot outside the gate there that we could put a few more in. But it ain't much, and it wouldn't have taken very many more cars to have been full from practice, which tells me a lot right there. Which I think helps me. I'd been debating a little bit on how many divisions to run each night, and that's a difficult thing to manage there. So hopefully we'll have that dialed in just right.
Juggling everything, trying to get your divisions right, and you sort of seen how many was in each. And I think Friday, we're practicing Friday this week, not Saturday. I think Friday will give you another opportunity to sort of see who shows up in what division. And
yeah, I don't anticipate it'll be as big of a practice. I mean, it could be bigger. I don't know. But
one
I don't
could only pray. I'm not missing this one. It's on Friday night, so I get to see it, and I'm just hoping that magic is there again.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to a guy today. I mean, he's like, well, probably less cars on Friday. Well, I mean, this is a typical Friday racetrack in the past. I mean, Saturday's a new thing for Ararat, so maybe it will be, maybe it won't. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I mean, I got to give Gary credit. He was right. I was wrong. I mean, of course, I thought 10 would have been good. 15 would have been real good. I was like, man, we have that. I mean, we're set.
I seriously thought you were joking with me till I seen the photos and videos.
Yeah, and you mentioned, the amount of people in the grandstands watching. I would say over the course of the day, I mean, there was never this many people there all at one time, but I'm going to say there's close to 250, maybe more people in the grandstands over the course of the day. There'd be people come in and out, and there were people sitting in the grandstands and people parked up in the parking lot and people, just it's everywhere.
Well, the photos you sent me, I mean, there's people sitting in the grandstands like they're watching a race, and
they were.
I'm like, this is amazing, and I was just kicking myself. I was like, man, we should have the snack shack open, which we will have this Friday evening. We'll have the snack shack open with drinks and small snacks.
Oh yeah, we missed out on profit there for sure. We could have definitely sold some drinks and maybe a couple bags of chips or something, for sure. So but who knows what to expect? I didn't, and that's the asphalt guy in me that didn't know what the heck I was doing. Now, but I will say this, and I'm not patting myself on the back. I dodged the biggest bullet that first practice, because going into that practice, I'd done heard a couple people say, well, this guy's from asphalt. He don't know what the hell he's doing. And I still don't know what the hell I'm doing, okay? Let's just be clear.
I sort of think that we're probably going to get that all year.
But
people don't know us like the asphalt world.
We come out of that, and there was a whole different, feeling. Now, we might go into Friday, and we might look like real jackasses, okay? I don't know.
What are these idiots doing down here?
And come next weekend for the season opener, I mean, there could be some monkeys and some footballs out there, okay? I'm just saying. I mean, it could be. I don't know. But
could be.
We'll figure it all out. And
just
we're
hang tight. Just keep your seatbelts buckled on the roller coaster
luckily,
ride.
We've got great help. Especially, and I can't speak highly enough about Gary Nestor, track owner. He went out of his way to help us, and he has went above and beyond anything I could have expected out of him. And we're learning the process of. I can't take any credit for how the track was. That was all him and a couple of guys I assembled. You know what I mean? Other than that, I can't take any credit for it. But we're learning, and we're going to get there. So I'm excited about that, and I'm excited to see how this week turns out. So last Saturday we were supposed to have practice, and we get there, and I went to drive in and through the pits, and I'd have had to put it in 4-wheel drive to make it up the hill there. So I was like, So I just turned around, went up the hill there.
I honestly tried to get you to put it in 4-wheel drive. I said, just put it in 4-wheel drive and keep going.
No, at that point, it didn't matter. So I was like, well, let me get up here and see what the racetrack looks like. And I got up there, and it's pretty wet at the bottom of the back straightaway, and the drain isn't perfectly working in turns 1 and 2. Which we're working on. I think we're going to have Saturday. We're going to get most of that taken care of, so it'll be done after this practice.
And there was a lot of rain.
Yeah. A ton of rain, and so I'm sitting there, and I'm already thinking, there's no way we're going to get this in, and I'm looking at the radar, and at 1:00 it's rain supposed to hit, and I'm like, you know what? If the rain hits here at 1:00, I'll know that I just need to pack my bags up and go on back to Floyd County, okay?
But you didn't. You sat there and let it sprinkle, and you still had the optimistic hope. It might just stop.
Listen, I knew before that, but, I wasn't willing to give it in. Just, I wanted to see that scenario. I wanted to see how it was with, the majority of the water, being taken care of by Mother Nature and not by the water truck. And, I want to experience everything, and I'm sure I'm going to before the year's over with.
I'm sure we will.
And even this week, it rained a little bit down there tonight. And it's supposed to rain a little bit down there tomorrow evening or tomorrow night. And going into Friday, hopefully Mother Nature's done most of the work and we don't have to put much water on there.
Well, I can tell you this much. I was down there yesterday. And if the heat has been anything like it was yesterday, it's going to dry right on up pretty quick. It was hot.
Yeah, well, I think there's enough. You get enough rain, and, you get it repeatedly. And, we're trying to get that moisture down in, not necessarily on the top. And I think we got that. I think we got the makings of this. So we're going to get another experience of how that works, going into Friday's practice. I think the track will be really good again, I hope.
I still want to drive the water truck.
Yeah, okay. That thing costs too much for you to drive.
I mean, it looks so awesome going around there just dropping water out. Everybody else that's drove it.
And speaking of the water truck, I got to give, a lot of props to Jimmy Watson and his wife, Lisa, too. Not only have they helped us with the water truck and got us set up there, and, they also came and got our loop, tied in, and, and to be honest with you, the loop works just a little bit differently. I mean, it works the same but different. It's kind of put in a little different there than I was anticipating. When they told me where it was, I was like, "What?" Okay.
I was just so appreciative. They brought their equipment and let us hook into
you
it.
You were using our equipment, so they brought the equipment that they had and loaned it to us for the last one, and big kudos to them, because I mean we and I tell you, all these people down there have been super supportive and
helpful in every way they can.
Very, very much so, and I can't appreciate them enough. I mean,
the fuel filter on the water truck. He stayed most of the evening.
That was the whole thing going into the last practice. That's something, since we haven't had an episode, going into the last practice, Trey Cooper, who has, been a big help too. He's there, he's in the water truck, and he's frustrated because the thing's not running right. Well, some trash in the fuel, and they got some fuel filters and put on there, and got it back, going good. After a lot of work, he had to bring the service truck over there and work on it, and Jimmy, put that effort in, and I really
he stayed till about dark that night, but you could tell when he got in that thing and fired it up and took off, he was ready to be done with it. He was ripping it.
Yeah, for sure. So really appreciative of all the people down there. I mean, I could sit here for hours and think of people who have either offered their help, have been helpful, who want to help, who are going to help, or whatever. I'm super thankful for all the people down there.
Absolutely great bunch of people. Just super. And I think they have a love for their home track that they just want it operational.
Yeah.
And they're probably like, well, these dumbasses, they're from asphalt and don't know what they're doing. We better jump in and help them.
Listen, whatever it is, I'll take it. So, it is what it is. But I'm excited. I was excited to see how the track, I'm talking about, how the track might come apart before the last one. And, that's not a big worry there from what I can tell. So, now we may go this week and it may come all apart and I may look like an idiot, but I don't think so. So
the track looks absolutely beautiful.
I feel a lot better about it. But I'll tell you something that, was of interest to me this past weekend. So we're kind of in a line here, dirt track wise. So like if you're, we're at Ararat, we're almost at North Carolina. You got Wythe that's kind of in the middle, kind of going down 77 of the state there. And then, Beckley's on up 77. And
Princeton.
Yeah, but this doesn't involve them.
Okay.
But yes. So, we're, we get our little weather pattern last week. And I'm thinking, well, gosh, I hate that for Wythe, They're probably not going to get there. That's what I'm thinking in my head. Well, Lord, they had perfect weather. It's like 76 degrees and sunny and nice, and they had a great opener, and then, so right up the road, Beckley, they get their track ready. They're live on Facebook talking about how it looks, and here we are a few minutes later. It's done misted and fogged it out. I'm like, holy smokes, man. So it was just last weekend was just all over the map of weather. Like Natural Bridge had great weather too. You know what I mean?
It was a weird weather pattern last week.
It was just so broke up. The storms just broke up so much. But unfortunately our practice got canceled, and I hate that because I need the reps. You know what I mean? My staff needs the reps. We need that. And the racers need time too. So, but
I need to see cars on the track. I need to physically see it.
Well, hopefully Mother Nature plays out this week, and you'll get to see that.
She better be nice.
We'll see. But so opener reset to May 10th. Practice.
Don't remind me. It's coming up way too quick.
Practice on May 2nd, which is Friday. Which this will go up here in a couple of hours. We're 10:30 at night on Wednesday, Thursday, whatever day this is. Wednesday.
We're on Wednesday.
And, yeah, I don't even know what day of the week it is. So most people hear this on Thursday or Friday or whatever. So it'll be, practice will be on Friday, May 2nd. And, hopefully we have a good turnout. Hopefully people get out there and take advantage of, getting on the track because, we need that. As a staff, we need the opportunity to do that. And hopefully we have all of our members of the staff there, this time and kind of get a real grip on how things are going to go. We'll have merchandise available, food and snacks, as you mentioned, earlier. We'll be full blown ready to go for the opener. A couple, I get all kinds of questions. So one question we got, May 10th, Renegades were originally on the schedule, but since we pushed the opener back, we're pushing that back, to probably the 24th. So we'll try to get them in on the 24th and, work the schedule over a little bit. And, I think that class was, a few weeks ago I'd have told you, man, ain't nobody running that class, but the last couple of weeks I've really had some more interest and some more people talking, and I feel a little bit better about it. So hopefully that'll be good. I'm going to put this out in the next day or two, so we talk about it a little bit, but we got some really cool trophies for the season opener. Had some, acrylic, they're full color acrylic trophies set up for this opener. So looking forward to that. I'm sure the racers will be ready to, get their hands on one of those.
They're absolutely awesome.
Yeah, they turned out really good. They're not our best work, but can't give it all out on race one. Then we look like we ain't doing nothing for the rest of the races. So
can't give out all our good secrets.
Yeah, I had a lot of questions about payouts, too, and I'll kind of address that a little bit. Here's how I look at that, okay? And I have to be smart here, and I don't want to, promise away a bunch of money and, look like, an idiot that, I'm not, doing what I say I'm going to do. So I'm kind of trying to stay, right there, you know what I mean? And, the grandstands aren't that big at Ararat, and, but I tell you, after the practice, I feel really good about what could be there. Of course, they got in for free, so, of course they'll show up. But I feel like they're going to show up, and I've been to races there before, and I feel like they're going to show up, so I feel good about that. But, we are a lot smaller. Wythe Raceway a whole lot more people than we can. Natural Bridge a whole, twice what we can. Beckley a whole 2 or 3 times what we can. So I don't want to get into the, I'm going to try to pay you the same as what they're paying you, because I'm not. We're not going to pay that much. You know what I mean? And it's not, and I've said this from day one when I went into the meeting. I said, hey, I'm not promising you the world, and I'm not paying you out no big purses. It's just not going to happen. But I can tell you that, so we've been working on these purses and trying to, trying to get there and give you the most money without putting ourselves in a bad position. And I think, I think for the late model division, we're going to be in the $600 to win range, and try to get, the magical number everybody wants to start is $100, and I'm going to try to get to that. In my calculations, I'd like to be at 75, but I'm trying to get there on the 100. You know what I mean?
Now, does the late models have to buy tires?
Well, you're stuck over there in the asphalt world. We don't do that.
Okay.
We don't do that. No, they do not. I mean, they have to have tires, obviously, but they don't have to buy tires from us or anything like that.
Okay.
Whole different deal. But it's still, it's a balance because you use so much tire and whatever.
Well, maybe some of the fans listening didn't have any idea if they bought tires or not. Just thinking about the purse.
Well, you're just thinking about asphalt people here, okay?
Not necessarily.
I'm just giving you a hard time. Modifieds, I think we're going to be in the $500 to $600 range. I feel really good about that class. Like I said before, I think that could be our top class. Hoping for $75 to start there. I think that's kind of the magical number everybody wants, and I think I can get there. I would much rather be at 50. Because that $200 or $300 right there in the start money, it's not going to make us or break us, but on a bad night that may bail us out from looking like idiots. You know what I mean? Renegade Sportsman and the Pro 4s are going to be in the $300-$400 range. Between 30 and 50 to start, somewhere in that neighborhood. The stock 4s are going to be 200 to win. They've got 30 to start. And right now the Crown Vics, this is how they're going to be set up to start the season. But as they grow, and they're growing a little faster than I had anticipated, so we'll have to revisit this. But they're going to get 200 to win, 125 for second, $75 for third. So a total of a $400 purse. Top 3 gets paid. Nobody else gets paid. Eventually we'll get you to the same thing as everybody else. But hey, we got to start somewhere. Baby steps here. All the purses, if we do have twin races on a night, they would be split. $100 bonus if any driver can win both races in any division. you know, and then I got some other things, some other bonuses and stuff we're looking at. So, but that gives you an idea of where we're at and what we're thinking, and you know, I'm trying to be smart here. You know, I listen. I could promise you the world and give away the farm the first couple races, become, you know, race number 3 on the schedule, which is in June or whatever. I mean, I'll be sitting up here in Floyd, and y'all be sitting at your house because I can't afford to pay you. You know what I mean? And I'm not getting into that game, and I'm not going to be stupid about it. And I think you guys understand that because the place has been sitting there closed, Friendship's closed, 311's closed, and yes, you can travel and make more money. Knock yourself out. $150, $200 in fuel, whatever you got to do to travel all these places. I promise you, the you know, $10 to $20 or $25 less that we're paying you, I'm promising you, if you sit down and do the math, you'll go, you know what, that's great. You know what I mean? So that's where we're at with purses, and like I said, you know, we're gonna try to, you know, I'm all about trophies. I'm all about paying you as much as I can pay you without, you know, hurting myself and hurting the health of the racetrack. And so I think we'll be good. I mean, I think if everybody, you know, just goes into it with an open mind and you know, looks at it the way that you know, the way that they should, I think we'll be fine. So.
Absolutely. I think that we're on the right path. At the end of the day, you know, we're not Friendship. We're not 311. We're not Beckley. We're just the little area at BullRing that's trying to give you guys a place to race to where you don't have to travel hours away.
I thought you were going to start reading us the children's book, The Little Engine That Could, or something over there. I wasn't real sure.
Well, I'm thinking that's how the story's going to go. You know, we're going to keep chugging along.
But listen, if my math is wrong and there's more money there than I think there is, then, I mean, we'll pass that on to you. I don't have any problem with that. But don't go, the season opener's probably going to look full in the pits and in the grandstands. Don't go take that and go, man, they ain't paying us enough. Because I promise you, ain't every night going to look like that. I wish it would, but ain't every night going to look like that. So, but anything else? Anything I missed? Anything else we should have mentioned?
I don't think so. I think that we've got pretty much gave, you know, updates of everything we've been doing, everything we're working on. We're not going to be perfect the first race. Going to have a killer practice this Friday night.
I hope.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Hopefully getting back into the swing of things of doing this weekly. I know that the week... Not
exactly weekly, but...
I know the week just seems to fly by. You know, they say the older you get, the faster time goes. And that is one of the truest things in this world.
The days are long and the years are short. So, it is true.
Weeks just seem to fly by.
Yeah.
Days are minutes.
For sure. But opener, Saturday, May 10th. I'm thinking that pit gates will open at like 4. Let's see, 5:30, or no, maybe 3 o'clock. Pit gates open at like 3 o'clock. Drivers meeting at 5:30 hot laps. And then we kind of roll from there. You know what I mean? Dirt racing, you don't really announce start time of the race. You know what I mean? Which I'm anticipating around 7 o'clock will be the start time of the race. But you know, we're still working through the whole, you know, heat race or no heat race, and the idea of all the other things. But you know, for opening night, we got the late models. We got the Buffalo Mountain Motorsports late models, a TC Construction Modifieds, Pro 4s, Stock 4s, and Crown Vics for opening night, plus the juice boxes and bike races for the kids. So good opportunities to get the kids on track.
I am so hoping the juice boxes and the bike racers take off.
Yeah.
That's our next generation.
I mean, if we're going to be there for a long time, which we obviously hope, you know, that's the future racer. So,
and nothing brings me more joy than seeing the little kids out there. Just, man, I'm on this racetrack and I get to race.
Yeah.
It's one of the cutest things, you know, to watch a future racer. Just love it so much.
I'm with you. Saturday, May 24th will be night number 2 on our schedule. The Remembering Heroes night. That's Memorial Day weekend. Got late models, modifieds, Pro 4, Stock 4s, Renegade Sportsman, and Enduro that week. So basically, that'll be our biggest night. So we're going to try this out with 5 divisions this week and then a 6th division one for the second night. See how all that goes. And, we're going to have spectator drags that night.
I was just getting ready to say, when's Spectator Drags debuting?
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. And Monday, May 26th, the Memorial Day Special, American All-Star Series, 604 crate late models, and we'll figure out what other divisions are going to run with them pretty quickly. And then we roll into June and July, and before you know it, the season will be over, and we'll have crowned champions and all that good stuff. But man, I'm really, I know every time we get on this thing, we talk about how excited we are, but I'm still excited. I mean, here we are, and I'm gonna tell you, getting that first practice in was a lot more stressful than it may have felt or looked like, and behind the scenes, it was interesting. Probably, I thought I was gonna have to cancel it the night before, and a couple different times, and the water truck broke, and some other things going on, and just. Whew. But we survived that one, and now we're ready and set and ready to go for another practice this Friday, May the 2nd, and then season opener on May the 10th. Really excited about that, and really excited to get this show back on, schedule of having, having it on a regular basis and coming out on the same day every week and all those things. We really got to get our ducks in a row there. And
I'm just ready to have racing to talk about.
So. Well, we'll have plenty to talk about.
How excited we are every episode and how we're doing this. I just want to talk about the racing. So-and-so.
Listen, if practice was any indication, the racing's going to be really good.
Oh.
I mean, like watching Levi Woodcock and Travis Covey and Cambridge Gann out there, in the modifieds, and watching some of the late model guys and, out on track, and there's some. I think we're going to have some really good racing this season. I think the BullRing is, going to be on point, and like I said, I'm excited and I'm ready to go. But I guess we need to wrap this thing up for the episode 8 of the BullRing Banter Podcast. Hopefully, we'll see all you guys out for Friday night, May 2nd practice, and then I want to see everybody out for the season opener on Saturday, May the 10th. $15 will get you in the grandstands. Kids 10 and under are free, which reading through like some dirt tracks, most of them, charge for, 5 to 12 or 6 to 12 or whatever. And so we're kind of a little different there. So hopefully bring more of the family out. That's what we're all about. Let's get everybody involved and bring grandma and grandpa and mom and dad and brothers and sisters.
And remember, we will have merch available this Friday.
Yep, I had a bunch of people ask me about the old Ararat BullRing hat that I was wearing, the Carhartt looking hat. We'll have some of those, have some camos and some blacks and some black on blacks and black on grays, and I think some other ones, rope hats. And
we got a few of this and a few of that.
We got about all of our shirt designs I think we'll have there, that are available, some can koozies, some different things. So come on out, get that, be ready for the season, and we're ready for you. So we'll see everybody out Friday night, and we're excited to go.